Latimer from Salina, Kansas this morning with a continued flash flood threat today as this upper level low continues to spin across the southern plains. We had about 2.5 to 3 inches of rain estimated across this area here overnight, which is right at the threshold here in the southern plains for flash flooding. We need about 3 inches of rain over a 3-hour period to start getting these drainage ditches and creeks ripping with flash flood type rains. And we head right about at that threshold here in Salina, and you can see these drainage ditches are pretty full. This thing was even more full about 15 minutes ago as I was doing my lives here for AccuWeather, and now it is starting to subside. But with the sun coming out here and this cyclonic flow aloft and a little bit of a cold pocket above all of this tropical moisture, there's going to be more slow-moving, heavy rain-producing storms again across the southern plains. It looks like I'll likely have to target southeastern Kansas into Oklahoma today for that flash flood threat. Then it looks like severe weather and even tornado potential tomorrow in western Nebraska or the Nebraska Panhandle. It looks like I'll be headed in that direction for tomorrow with a potentially intense storm chase. I'll likely blow my windshield out again with big time hail. But first, I'm chasing the flash flood threat underneath this upper level low here in Salina. And last night, as I was blasting east along I-70, there were some flash flood warnings that were issued just to the southeast of Hays. That included the Otis area. That's where about 4 to 5 inches of rainfall happened, which was more than enough for a flash flood threat. But here in Salina, thankfully, we didn't get much more than that 3-inch threshold. So you've just got pretty minor flooding. These drainage ditches are full with much needed moisture. Much more substantial flash floods in northeast Pennsylvania into southern New York between the Binghamton and Scranton area, even life-threatening flash floods there. A very similar upper level low, but different than here in the southern plains. They don't need the rainfall there in the northeast, and that's why you've had even life-threatening flash floods in that mountainous terrain there of northeast Pennsylvania, the hilly terrain also of New Jersey. There was even a water spout reported. No, I'm going to likely have my window blown out tomorrow's chase. That's when the big hail is going to happen. Today is more of a flash flood impact. So I'll be covering the flash floods here across the southern plains underneath this slow-moving upper-level low that's going to drift off to the northeast toward the Midwest. And the slight risk for flash floods is also going to shift northeast as well. But tomorrow, my sights are going to be back on the high plains, the Nebraska Panhandle. It's been getting absolutely hammered this whole entire year. The high plains have with tornadoes, flash floods, big-time hail. So it looks like we'll have more of the same tomorrow as we have a relatively smooth transition into what will likely be a very active fall season for severe weather across the southern plains, the rest of the central U.S., and eventually expanding across the rest of the southeast too, as this subtropical jet stream really begins to crank with the El Nino emerging in the tropical Pacific. But we've got plenty of moisture here, tropical moisture across the southern plains, so there will be more of a flash flood threat again today. I'll likely head just to the south of here, maybe southern Kansas. I may target the eastern or northern fringes of this stratiform rain that's happening. There is a little bit of a blob of stratiform rain, so on the east and northern side, that's where that convection is going to develop, those slow-moving storms, which could drop rainfall rates of 1, 2, 3 inches per hour, and anything over that 3-inch threshold, that's when those flash flood warnings are going to be prompted. So I'll continue to update on the flash flood threat, but I highly recommend you tune in tomorrow afternoon or evening, because that's when I'll be chasing tornadoes and windshield shattering hail once again.